Hello YouTube, this is Logan Film Studios with LEGO Transformers Blackbird. So Blackbird here, as many of you can probably tell from the name, is an SR-71 Blackbird. I think it's a really cool jet in real life, so I figured it would be a fun model to make. I made this pretty small scale, so I wasn't able to get all of the details completely right, but I think I was able to get a pretty good representation of what it would look like. You can see here it kind of has a very broad shape to it, and there's a small cheese slope in the front for the cockpit. In the back you have these red lines. There's also like really small blue lines that are like around here somewhere, but I wasn't able to really fit those in a way that would look good. And then here you have the engines and like the wings off the side, and then the fins up here. Here's what the jet looks like from the bottom. It's a little bit more hollow here. You can sort of see the head right here, but it's not too bad. I like to imagine that these divots that are attached to the hinge plates are kind of acting as landing gear. I don't think the ones in the back here would be completely accurate, and these ones should probably be closer together as like one landing gear, but it works well enough if you just want to have it resting on the ground. But you can also attach a stand to this stud right here, this hollow stud. You can put like a clear bar through it or something and then display this thing flying, which is really cool. For size comparison, here's Blackbird next to Accelerator, and here it is next to a minifigure. Blackbird's transformation is pretty simple, but it uses some very interesting techniques. So first we're going to open up this section and open up these sections. Then we're going to rotate the front of the jet, bring down these sections, and rotate this section around. And we're going to rotate down these sections, which will become the legs, and rotate around these sections, which will become the arms. Then we'll do this really cool mass shifting technique I came up with for the Batmobile, which involves sliding this bar down, basically collapsing this body down one stud, and that allows for this section to come up and tab into that stud that was on the bottom of the jet, and that makes his body a little bit more solid. Now we can go to the legs and untab the fin section from the rest of the wing. Then we're going to rotate the wing up, and we're going to rotate the engine, and basically the slope of the cone here will match up with the slope of the wedge plate on the engine there, like that, and it'll create this clean slope shape. And then you can rotate the fin back in and tab it back into the wing and rotate it back. Now we'll do the same on the other side. We're going to untab the fin from the rest here, rotate the engine around, and then rotate the wing around and tab the fin back in place, and rotate the wing back. Now all there's left to do is rotate out the little hands and flip out the heel spurs, which will help him stand up. And here is Blackbird in his robot mode. This robot mode is not really great in terms of proportions. He's kind of just like a stick figure. but I think it's still pretty cool. And I also like how there's not really any kibble on this except for the wings that are kind of attached to his waist, but those kind of serve as weapon storage, which I'll show off a little bit later. Because of how skinny he is, how much he's basically a stick figure, he has a little bit of problem standing. That's why I added this movable tile to use as a heel spur, and that definitely helps. I really like the colors on this guy. I used this red 1x1 round plate to add a little bit more red into the robot mode, and I like how this red stripe came out as a detail for his legs. He has this red visor here in his head, and the rest of the head, it's pretty plain, but if you wanted to, you could transform it a little bit differently by like moving the whole thing sideways, or you could move the visor 45 degrees like this for a bit of a different look. But I like the clean aesthetic of just leaving it this way. For such a small and simple figure, Blackbird actually has a lot of posability. His head can rotate side to side, his arms can go in and out and rotate forward and back. He has a full elbow bend here. The hand can rotate forward and back. The legs can go in and out, but are a little bit hindered by these wings, but you can rotate the wings out of the way like this, and you can rotate the legs to get a little bit more posability out of them, and the legs, of course, also rotate forward and back. The legs have a really good knee bend here, and there's no really foot articulation other than the ability to adjust the heel spur there. So for weapons, Blackbird actually has weapon storage because these wings can be pulled off and become these sort of axe weapons that he can carry around. And I mean, they look okay like this. I just thought it was an extra fun feature, and it's cool to think about these instead of being kibble as like kind of weapons that are holstered on his leg. So here's what it would look like holding two of the weapons like this. And then if you don't like the axe weapon, you can transform this a little bit, bring the engine back out, and it can be a sort of blaster type weapon. Let's do this with the other one. Rotate the wing out, then rotate the engine around. It's kind of a tight joint. There we go. And then tab this back in. And you have these sort of gun weapons that you can carry around. For size comparisons, here's Blackbird next to Accelerator, and here he is next to a minifigure. So that's all for LEGO Transformers Blackbird. Not the best robot mode, but definitely makes up for it with an awesome vehicle mode and transformation. If you want to see more LEGO Transformers by me, then check out the LEGO Transformers playlist on my channel, and I'll see you guys next time with my next LEGO Transformer.